Alright, so this is for Sonic, which we just watched. So just for editor's just reference when reviewing the clips.
It's for Sonic 06.
It's for Sonic 20.
Jeez.
It really is, isn't it, though? Yeah. It's Sonic 20.
Dude, we're in the 20s now. Bring back flappers.
Blah, 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 blah. Yes. Oh, but I guess aside from its other alias, which is Sonic 20, Gabe, what did we watch?
Oh, we watched Sonic the Hedgehog with the rings and whatnot and live action, but the better version of it.
Yes. You know that there's a lot more titles for Sonic the Hedgehog, whether it be game or movie. Because like, we were just talking about 2006, but it really was Sonic the Hedgehog 2006.
Yeah.
It just gets rebranded every single time, and this is no exception.
Well, this is now a movie, so
it
can just be Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's true.
Bracketed movie.
Yeah, I'll see if we can add some additional space between us just to keep everything balanced somewhat. But now we have this weird negative space.
Luckily, it's filled by this beautiful red, or
Salsa.
this beautiful salsa.
Sofa.
Darcy.
Yes. But Gabe, what did you think of the movie, actually?
I enjoyed it.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. Like
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. I didn't even realize I'd be laughing as much as I did, and just kind of enjoy like how everything was kind of paced and how everything was set up. I wasn't really coming in there with the biggest what's the impression for that? Or I guess
You didn't go in with high hopes?
yes. And I think that just worked out for the better. So maybe that's why I'm just so excited to actually talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a movie that's geared towards kids because they do a lot of censoring here and there, but there's a little bit of a maybe like when they're like 6 to 10, and then they're okay with it because it does get to a certain point to a mature audience, especially with the drinks kind of lying around in that bar scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That alcohol use and guns being shot at humans.
It's true. A lot of weapons here and there.
A lot of explosions.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
Not Michael Bay levels of explosion, but just like a good moderate amount, considering that one person is using technology and whatnot.
Technology.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Jim Carrey I actually loved his role as Robotnik/Eggman.
I don't believe there's been a moment where I haven't enjoyed a Jim Carrey role.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's just goofy.
Yeah.
I love it.
They did a good job of establishing Dr. Robotnik, why he's called Eggman. Then we got Sonic. Then we have Dave. Mm-hmm. We got the Donut Lord.
Donut Lord Tim.
Yeah.
His wife, Maddie. Great support.
Pretzel Lady.
Yeah, Pretzel Lady.
She was born without bones.
Born without bones.
The information that we're throwing is pretty much like the first 10 or so minutes of the movie.
It really is. And we will talk about spoilers, not that it really matters. I mean, it's...
Sonic wins.
Yeah, I mean... What? Does it get eaten by Manticore? And we get to see every second of him. Every single one of his quills. His lightning-induced quills.
It's just 20 minutes of Sonic being eaten at the end.
Mauled. It's gruesome.
Think The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio and his bear.
There was a lot of kids in the theater, but once like the first jaw got into his arms, everyone just went dead silent.
Yeah, there's a lot of tears, a lot of crying.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many times I told those parents to shut their kids up, they just wouldn't. Very, very disrespectful, and it really took from my experience.
And you know what? There was another appearance in the movie that I wasn't expecting. Cream was actually in the movie.
Yeah.
She had like just one liner, and then she was gone from the movie. It was just...
What I was surprised... Shut up. What I was surprised about was the alarming number of Chow that were in the movie.
Chow's in space, bringing it back.
Yeah.
They made it a thing, and they put a YouTube video of it, and then like just confirmed it in cinema. It's great. And also our favorite Ultimate Life Form was also there too, as like a little cameo.
Yeah. He was a blink and you miss it in the background type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but don't worry, they didn't add the anime like stereotype in there where like he falls in love with like a human. No, It's clean. It's at least clean for that until it gets to the Manticore part. Then everything's kind of off guards.
Yeah, think about everything wrong with Sonic game stories from 2006 to 2022, and it has none of those problems in it.
Alright. The conference in which they were to plan out exactly how this story would go out. We'll take all the elements from the Sonic games and completely trash them and create our new story, taking away all the good and the bad.
There's no werehogs, no anthropomorphized rodents falling in love with teenage girls.
And also, I do remember that there is a foot scene too, just for people who just wanted to know about that.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe they dedicated like a whole 2.5 minutes to Sonic just changing his shoes.
Really went by in a blink of eye for me, but you know what? Like, when you want to look at the detail of the shoes, and then of course you have to count it with the feet. It's just.
I think the worst part about it was, since it's live action, they couldn't put the stink lines. They just put like the heat haze around it.
The heat haze. Whew, okay.
Can we talk about the movie now?
Okay, we can talk about the movie right now.
God, we just created the worst thing ever. I would prefer fucking old design Sonic over what we just talked about.
All over Sonic. Okay.
God.
The movie was great, and for a movie that was 1 hour and 38 minutes, it felt like it went a reasonable amount of time.
It didn't feel like it dragged, but it definitely felt like it was a bit short in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
have you gotten used to like the Avengers like length?
I don't think I got used to the Avengers length, but I am used to about that 100 to 110 minute mark, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but you can fit a whole scene within that moment. So you could flesh out just a little bit more story in that, or get a little bit more information.
Especially like, well, when we were watching the trailers for it, it was something where a lot of scenes were like added into it, but it was definitely out of like order, highlighting some highs here and some things that weren't even like added into the movie, I don't think, or maybe changed, but it was definitely just different.
Like what?
Like just how it was paced. I may be just talking out my ass right now because I'm starting to get a little tired, but I would just say like there was a lot more into the movie than I had initially had thought for these trailers. I think that it did a good job with that as far as the trailers are concerned, but I would say that for all the events that happened, and it felt like a good number of them did happen, I thought it was really well paced, all things considered, because it focused on building Sonic as a character from the ground up, from like his origins way back when to how his like 2 days on Earth or so, like during that time period of the movie. I think it just worked out well as far as building that, as well as building the other characters, also Robotnik especially.
Yeah, I like the way that they did Robotnik's character. They really made him a very funny, unlikable guy.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Otherwise, it really just feels like you just want to anticipate the Sonic scenes. With this one, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, give me Jim Carrey.
Yeah, they really made Robotnik an enjoyable character. Just like, man, fuck you, guy.
Man, fuck you, we got jokes.
Yeah. If anybody's seen the movie Grandma's Boy, he definitely feels like fucking JD in that movie. But a lot funnier and a lot less JD.
Man, there are actually a good number of favorite moments for that, but I guess I can say that for the spoiler things. But overall, I would say that if you have no like affiliation with Sonic or know nothing about Sonic, it's still worth a watch. As far as just like if you're never going to really pick up on Sonic, because at that point, like, it gets confusing when you try to blend the two together.
Honestly, I'd leave a big enough disconnect, because it's not like any of the games connected, really.
Nah. People eventually made the connection.
Yeah. Like, you can force connection between the games and whatnot, but it with Sonic, it's not too hard to kind of put the movie over here and then the games over here and separate all those as well.
That's true.
And so whether you're a big Sonic fan where you follow everything, or if you're someone that just knows the name Sonic and you're like, it's a video game movie, it's enjoyable. You can watch it. It doesn't rely too heavy on the mechanics of the game.
No.
You don't have to know any bit of lore about it. It establishes its own world and reasons for things happening. I guess the only thing that's not really explained in the movie that I guess someone nitpicking like, what doesn't explain is why he's faced and why he glows. But honestly, that's just nitpicking details that don't need it pretty much just that's the way it is.
They just kind of roll with it, and
yeah.
they do a good job just not really like putting like an eyeglass towards that. It's just more over like it's something, it's a device to move things around. But yeah, I would just say I recommend it. If you were to give it like your own personal score, what would you give this movie?
I would give it 4 hot toes out of 5.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I would say that it was great, but it wasn't superb. So I would say I'll give it 6 apples out of 16 avocados. Very tasteful. I don't really give that score in a lot, but I think it deserves this one.
Okay.
Yeah, very respectable film, especially since they had to go through the whole change in like the character design. And I think ultimately, I think it went for the better.
Yeah, they really did. They did put in a lot of work changing its design. It was really well done. It felt a lot more approachable than what it looked like before, and they definitely did a lot of line changes, which I know is a lot of extra effort to reanimate as well. They couldn't just re-rig what they had before to a new model. So kudos to the animation team. Good job on the writers. Sonic felt very Sonic, in my opinion.
Yeah. Even if it's not the same type of Sonic, it's like a twist on the character that still seems very to that character.
Yeah, he's very recognizable. If you didn't have any like visual on what was happening, you would still, I feel, associate it with Sonic based just off dialogue.
All right, so should we go ahead and get started with the spoiler? I know there's not really much in spoilers because it is an origin story, it's a spin-off, so there are people who already know everything about Sonic, and that doesn't really typically apply here either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say that, there's a lot of favorite moments I had in this movie. I think, because we were just talking about it, JoJo, can you at least put the Fitbit on? Get some walk, get some steps in.
When they, so, for people that don't mind spoilers and that haven't seen the movie quite yet, the titular, well, not the titular character, the main character, what was his name again? Tim. Tom.
Tim or Tom.
Whether you're a dentist or not. His wife, his sister-in-law really does not like him. Wants her sister to divorce this man. After she passes out due to the shock of seeing a fucking 3-foot hedgehog in the shape of a man, they tie her up and forget that she's tied up. Cut to later in the movie, which is way later in the day. This happened in the late morning. Cut to fucking evening. Sun's already completely gone. Night's black.
I also don't.
Still tied up.
She was so tied up, and the weird thing is that I don't really know like the distance-wise from where they are in Green Hills to San Francisco.
They were in Montana, if I remember correctly.
So at a certain point,
they're way up there. They went from Montana to San Francisco.
And I only point that out because they did spend not a good amount of time, but they did spend like a good road trip to San Francisco. Just Sonic and
2 days.
2 days, yeah. So it's just that was a good opportunity for them to kind of like grow as characters, becoming friends, and it was actually like another one of my favorite parts was just the whole like bar interaction, that whole scene.
Yeah, they had a Futurama bit where very reminiscent of Fry drinking his 100 coffees, where time just stops and he's just waltzing about.
Yeah, I really like that. I know that people reference that with like Quicksilver, but it was just nice.
Yeah.
And it's the first instance I think that kind of showcase one of Sonic's abilities.
He's just fast as fuck.
He's really fast. That's a nice touch though when Robotnik, or I should just say Eggman at this point.
Yeah.
When Eggman like is utilizing the quill that he first like got. And like once he had the ability to like tap into it, because like Sonic had like a small like window time, and he was just messing up all these robots. But eventually, it had hit that button, and then like everything just went fast for him too.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's cool. That's kind of like helps, like level everything.
The playing field.
Yes. And so that could explain to a lot of people in the game universe why he might be fast in some certain ways.
Yeah. Why Eggman can absolutely outrun Sonic.
He just has a quill on him.
Just has a quill on him. Boom. Explained game lore at that point. Good job, Sonic movie.
But didn't you guys say it was a separate time?
Oh man.
You see a lot of things.
I think my favorite bit was him harassing the small town local crazy guy. I know you're out there, Blue Devil, and I know you're real. No, I'm not.
I forgot. That was hilarious. Sonic knew pretty much almost, well, not everyone, but just kind of just grew up with that town.
Yeah, he spent a couple years there, I'm gonna guess, because he had to accumulate all that stuff.
Over time. And you know what was actually kind of sad about the movie was the fact that it was literally 10 years later, and now he's like where he is now in Green Hills, where his old home, like ever since, well, let's say he was probably like
how old is he in the game? 15?
In Sonic Heroes, that's 2003. He's 15.
So let's just say he was 5 at the time.
Yeah, that's why I'd say 5, because he references school, and like he's still a little child, but he's not like a baby.
Yeah.
That was a really interesting like origin story for him, because I wasn't expecting him to be given a caregiver. What was the owl's name? It was like
Fuck if I know.
Longclaw or something like that. But she was pretty much telling him that there are going to be people out there, and still kind of echoed for later on in the movie that there's going to be people out there who will find out about Sonic and want to utilize his power. So she would ask him to use the rings, which have nothing to do about his like lifespan, but was used as portals to teleport him to different like places depending on what he thinks about.
Which in the games happened too. He would run through
it's
big
true.
gold rings
Yeah,
to teleport places.
so maybe you can consider those are that.
But pretty much told him that you have a power that I don't even understand, and as long as you have that power, there are gonna be people that want to use it.
And so in the very next minute, people are already hunting them down, and then Longclaw has to do one last sacrifice and send him over
Fly, you fools!
to just a dimension. And over the course of 10 years, Sonic has jumped to like
6 or 7 places.
Yeah, until he settled down with Earth, found himself like a little nice cave, gathered a bunch of stuff, and then just got to know the Donut Lord,
Pretzel Lady,
crazy guy.
Yeah, crazy guy. He knew most of the town.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of people there. That's a small town. It's a perfect town.
Yeah. You know, considering that Sonic, for as long as we know anyway, has spent 10 years by himself.
Yeah.
With hardly any interaction. The only way he learns is just by
observing.
It's gotta be really lonely for him. For him to like really value the idea of just being close with other people and friends.
And don't worry, people. Sonic is a Keanu fan.
Yes.
He loved him in Speed.
But man, it. And I feel like when Sonic was talking to Tom in the truck, when he was talking about like, oh, why do you want to like go to San Francisco? You got it good here in Green Hill, and just like it's a lot of just him just projecting like what he really wishes for his own life.
Yeah, it's like I just want to find home.
Yeah,
I'm tired of moving.
There's a really weird moral of the story in that too.
Home is where the heart is.
Mm-hmm. And I really wasn't expecting that type of heartfelt like message in the movie. But this is coming from like a hedgehog who spent a lot of time like in isolation, despite being able to just negotiate pretty well, actually.
Yeah, he gets around.
But it does, especially near like in the mid credits, where it does show like Tails. Then I was like, what?
It does seem like people from his planet are looking for him.
Or at least maybe he's made some friends along the way, but he had to keep moving because of circumstances. He keeps explaining that if he stays here, he's
putting
put others
people
in
in
trouble.
risk. Because people want his power and will do anything for it.
But then he had to learn that he can use his power however he wants, and he wants to use that power to protect his friends.
Through the power of friendship, I will prevail.
And he goes pseudo supersonic. No yellow, just blue.
Yeah, goes a very bright blue, and I'm kind of sad that he had to hit Eggman more than 3 times in his machine before it
was even more so. Yeah, I was like,
he did it thousands of times.
Yeah, thousands of times. But then you also have to consider that even though Sonic is super fast, he isn't super strong in a sense.
Very weak.
Yes. You'll see that in like the bar scene where he
Mob.
where you just like slug someone, but it's not like a slug, it's just a very gentle like push. Even if he goes like super fast on it, it's just like a bunch of small pushes.
Yeah. Dude, he lit up a dude's whole head from chin to the top of the head. I would say 40 to 50 punches in however fast Sonic moves, and the guy just nonchalantly turned around like, "Urgh!"
Ooh, you make me angry, Phil.
Couldn't even break a bottle over the guy's head after hitting him so many times with it, and the guy was unfazed.
And it's weird too because he has all that speed with him, but obviously he doesn't really use it all the time to his advantage there.
You would figure that Newton's is it first law, or is it
Conservation, or
force equals mass times acceleration? Is that?
I think that's second law. Oh, I can't be quizzed on this.
I'm not a physics guy, but I know what that is, and I know it has to do with Newton. But force equals mass times acceleration. He doesn't have a lot of math, but God does he accelerate, so there should be a good amount of force in that.
That is, unless he doesn't go into super slow time. But I wouldn't say that. Well, I think it's a handicap for him in this movie, just so he doesn't like overly power people.
Yeah.
Especially since he himself doesn't really have too much control beyond what he normally goes through. Like he's fast, like really fast, but he can go like insanely fast if he wanted to.
Yeah, he measured in the movie like him just jauntily sprinting topped out at 300.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, like, is that exactly where Sonic Unleashed? Because they had like a speedometer too, like.
No, that one went like, I believe it went like thousands of miles an hour.
Damn. Okay.
Even though.
That's technically a much more improved Sonic.
Yeah, well, not just that, but I hate to do it, but Game Theory, they measured him out because he was running through New York at the time.
Yes.
And they found a relatively same-sized building, and the time it took him to pass that building, he was going like 50-ish miles an hour.
Yeah, but they gotta like they gotta give a handicap for the people who are actually playing it, because if we were to actually have control of Sonic, we couldn't play him. We couldn't.
See, you could, because F-Zero allows you to go those stupid speeds, and it's relativistic to where they are, because those racetracks are planet-sized.
Yeah, I guess so.
So when it says you're going a couple thousand miles an hour,
you're right.
You're going a couple thousand miles an hour.
But yeah, like, I don't know, that's a separate theory within itself, but I mean, F-Zero is a different beast.
Bring back F-Zero.
Oh my god, yes. But I would say, like, Oh man, like it's hard to measure out this Sonic because he's pretty much the same age as like Sonic and Sonic Heroes.
Yeah.
But it feels like a much less mature. In a matter of fact, it really is just like an alternate reality in which different circumstances happen, and as a result, Sonic's progression and skills are varying.
Yeah, in this, he grew up on Earth as opposed to whatever his planet was.
Where that is.
It actually looks like the maps.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I would feel that this Sonic in the movie has a lot more experience in running, but no experience in fighting specifically.
Yeah. But he did learn that if he just throws his whole body weight into things, it'll do stuff.
And I guess he just has to go a little staticky. That's it.
Yeah.
That was a weird one. I guess you can like relate that to just like his I guess spin dash, his
little
regular jumps.
Yeah, his spin dash charge or whatever.
If you think about like where he has like a kind of a blue outline to him, like whether he's dashing or he's just jumping, then that can kind of be his activation of that with his electric quills. But that's kind of a stretch. I'm just trying to like make connections.
We're running it back to the games. We're explaining game lore with what happens in this movie.
We're trying to.
We could be game theory.
Just without numbers, because numbers are confusing.
Yeah.
Who wants to deal with numbers?
Who has time for math and research? We'd rather just speculate. Isn't that what all theories are?
Yeah. Why should we go through complicated numbers trying to explain sex when we have a couple hot dog sausages over there to figure things out? Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to like almost Stone Age, where we got where we just got rocks in our wee-wees.
Oh man.
And mushrooms, lots and lots of mushrooms to test.
I mean, Eggman has nothing but mushrooms now.
Yeah. Listen, I have to commend Eggman on this one, because he didn't just get lost, he just adapted himself.
My grip on reality? Outstanding.
He committed. Like, I'm so happy that he went full shaved, and over the course that he's been gone, he grew out that mustache.
Yeah.
He ain't fat or anything like that. He's
gonna get swole, because he's just tossing around Agent Stone.
Yes.
To do reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance! It's a shame that he's an asshole, because he's just really funny.
Yeah. He's very megalomania?
No, not
megalomania.
Cause it's something on that.
Megalomaniacal? Something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Self-absorbed, you would say?
Yeah, he's that.
Oh, but I do like his side man.
Yeah.
He's just a lot of fun because he doesn't get enough credit to be where he's at. He tolerates so much, and it just seems like he actually does care.
He almost worships Eggman.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess that's why he's just thrown around and pushed around.
That sucks. He deserves better. Bring him back for a sequel. If there is a sequel, but...
Yeah, well, they sequel baited hard
with Tails.
Yeah, Miles Prower coming in through his own ring.
I look forward to it. And then we're gonna have a second sequel, Uganda Knuckles.
Yeah, we're gonna have Knuckles, and then they're gonna bring in Amy, and then for the 5th movie they're gonna bring in everybody's favorite Big the Cat.
Froggy, where are you?
That's the whole crux of the movie, is they're looking for Froggy.
They're looking for Froggy. Sonic is just like, he's literally just napping in that movie.
So, I want to point something out.
Okay.
It is a very small detail in the movie that I just realized right now. Mm-hmm. He ran west, yeah?
Yes.
All the way to the Pacific, yes? He was completely drenched and had a fish on his head. You know what that means? He can't swim. He just went straight into the water. Because Sonic can't swim.
Canonically cannot swim. It was further supported that he really can't swim through like the anime and just whatnot.
Yeah. That is a very small detail that was kept in that movie. He couldn't swim, so he is completely drenched when he took a trip to the Pacific.
Yeah. I mean, he just doesn't know how to run on water yet.
I mean, he only goes 300 miles. Well, no, he went way faster than that. Where were they in relation to the Pacific? Yeah, but Was it when they first started their road trip, or was it?
It was just like on the outskirts.
It was just on the outskirts of town when he told him, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like deep in Montana, and made it to the Pacific in a matter of like a second or two.
I wonder why they decided to go with Montana. It's like, where can we find a place that could be known as Green Hills?
Nobody cares about that state. However, I do want to point something out. We now have a movie that takes place in Montana.
All right, check it off the bucket list. We're gonna need to find one that is in what's a place that no one really cared about?
Has anything happened in the Dakotas or Wyoming?
Probably one of the Dakotas and Wyoming. I've probably seen Wisconsin.
Like, I know things happened in a couple states,
but not like a main base. Like,
yeah,
setting.
like that's not where it like took place. Because New York is popular, Florida, Georgia.
What about Kentucky?
Kentucky. Just about every horse racing movie ever.
God damn, dude.
Because you have the Kentucky Derby.
Right.
California, Nevada. I want to say Arizona and New Mexico.
Iowa?
I don't think anything's happened out in Iowa. You know what? Let's show some love to Arkansas. I know, Alabama was Forrest Gump.
No, sorry. When you said Alabama, I was thinking about Sweet Home, followed by all the anime tropes in the world.
Brushing teeth and whatnot. Alright, so it was a good movie.
Yes.
Worth the watch. I had 4 Heat Haze toes out of 5. He had 6 apples out of what?
16 avocados.
16 avocados.
Yeah, I would just say it's just fun, and honestly, if you're just watching by yourself or with family, friends, you can watch it with anyone, and everyone can have a good time.
Yeah, you can. It's especially enjoyable with friends. I wouldn't watch this movie on my own. It's not that good, but it is enjoyable with friends, and you can just crack jokes at it.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. Jim Carrey again did a great job as Robotnik / Eggman. I don't know the voice for Sonic though. I think it was. I already forgot, but that was a really good voice for him.
It was also Jim Carrey.
It was also Jim Carrey.
Everybody, including Jim Carrey, was played by Tim Curry.
And I would just say it was a good job with all the other actors and characters supporting Sonic as well. And if they do come up with a sequel, I don't think that they would unless something financially worked out with that. Or
I genuinely think that they're going to pull out a sequel. It was good enough to receive good ratings and whatnot, and they're one step closer to our Smash Brothers movie. We have Pikachu. We have Sonic. So Pokemon and Sonic now exist.
You gotta make a remake of Mario.
Yeah, we need a better Mario movie.
Okay, yeah.
We need a better Mario movie. And then we need... what else would we need? We need a good Legend of Zelda movie.
Yes.
And a Fire Emblem movie. And they can just kind of...
They can kind of put those together.
Yeah, they can put those together and then just fill the roster of all the other characters. And it's like, oh, they're here too.
And then make Subspace again.
Yeah.
A movie. That could work. Yeah.
Ooh, Subspace would make a good movie.
I think so too. And actually, you know what? Forget the whole idea of making a new Mario Brothers. Just bring the same actors in. They're old as fuck, I know. But we can make it work, especially with Bowser. Oh my lord. We don't have Peach, but we got Daisy.
And the sequel is the light. What is it? What's the?
I don't remember like the villain name, but it was just like some light character.
Well, what's it
being
called?
A light.
What's the campaign called?
World of Light.
World of Light, yeah. And that'll be Smash Brothers 2, World of Light.
Smash Brothers 2, and then 3 will just be Infinity War. Everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
And then while we're at it, Lucas is gonna have a Tony to Peter moment. But okay, that's going a little bit beyond that. But yeah, great movie, especially if you're a Sonic fan, Seppi.
Yeah, Seppi, you probably enjoyed it.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it on my end. It was just fun.
Definitely enjoyable. Watch it with friends.
Mm-hmm. Or your dog. Alright. We'll end here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I guess we'll see you guys in the next video you decide to watch of us. Yeah. Hashtag bye, everyone.